When I walked into the courtroom 79 days after my husband's funeral, my daughter laughed. My son-in-law couldn't meet my eyes. The judge went pale. They thought I was a confused old woman who couldn't remember her own name. They had no idea I'd been collecting evidence against them every single day, recording their murder plot, photographing their fraud, building a federal case while they tried to poison me. My name is Paula Hartwell. I'm 72 years old. I spent 40 years as a federal judge in Maricopa County, and this is the story of how my own family tried to kill me for $15 million. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This story really starts with a funeral, my husband Robert's funeral, and the 3 words I heard 12 hours after we buried him, words that made my blood run cold. The Arizona sun hammered down at 108 degrees that August afternoon. I stood at the edge of Robert's grave in Paradise Memorial Gardens, watching the mahogany casket descend into the red desert earth. 43 years of marriage, 6 months of stage 4 lung cancer, the kind that doesn't negotiate. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Reverend Mitchell's voice competed with the hum of cicadas and the distant roar of traffic on the 101 freeway. Paradise Valley funerals aren't quiet affairs. Too much money. Too many people who think grief should come with production value. My hands shook as I held the handful of desert soil, coarse, dry, the color of rust. I let it fall through my fingers onto the casket lid. It made a sound like rain on a tin roof. "Goodbye, Robert," I whispered. Robert would have hated this heat. He always said Arizona summers felt like God testing who really belonged here. I belonged here. He belonged here. Now he was going 6 feet under it, and I was standing here in a black dress that cost more than our first apartment, wondering how I'd fill 43 years' worth of empty space. My daughter Hannah stood to my left. Black dress, black heels, black grief. Real tears, I noticed. That surprised me. We hadn't been close in years, not since she married Jordan Rivers 3 years ago and started treating me like an inconvenience. But here she was sobbing into a tissue. Jordan stood beside her, one hand on her shoulder. The other hand held his phone. I watched him check it. Once, twice, 3 times during the Lord's Prayer. A text message more important than your wife's dead father, apparently. I filed that detail away without really thinking about why. After 40 years on the bench, you develop instincts about people, and my instincts about Jordan Rivers had never been good. The casket settled with a mechanical whir. Someone handed me a white rose. I laid it on top of the spray of lilies already covering Robert's final resting place. Behind me, I heard someone blow their nose. Florence Carver, probably. My housekeeper for 32 years. More family than employee. She'd held Robert's hand the night before he died, whispering prayers in Tagalog, while I sat frozen in the chair beside his bed, unable to speak. "Paula," I turned. Monica Reeves stood there in a charcoal suit leather portfolio under one arm. She'd been Robert's lawyer, my lawyer, and our friend for 25 years. Sharp as a tack. Ruthless when she needed to be. I trusted Monica like I trusted my own judgment, which at the time I thought was pretty reliable. "We should talk," Monica said quietly, "about Robert's estate. Hannah and Jordan are waiting at the house." 2 hours later, we gathered in my living room. $8 million of Spanish colonial architecture, saltillo tile floors, hand-carved wooden beams, views of Camelback Mountain that real estate agents called unparalleled. Robert picked this house 30 years ago, said it reminded him of a castle. I told him judges don't live in castles. He told me retired federal judges damn well could. Monica stood by the fireplace, portfolio open. Hannah and Jordan sat on the couch, the cream-colored one Robert spilled coffee on last Christmas. I'd never gotten the stain out. Now I'd never have to explain it to him again. "Before we begin," Monica said, adjusting her reading glasses, "I want to say how sorry I am, Paula. Robert was a remarkable man." "He was." My throat felt like sandpaper. Monica opened the portfolio. "Robert's will is straightforward. All assets, the house investment accounts, retirement funds, life insurance, and trust accounts transfer entirely to Paula Hartwell." She paused. "Let the number land. The estate is valued at approximately $15 million. Hannah inhaled sharply. I heard it a quick, surprised breath. Jordan didn't move, but I saw his hand tighten on Hannah's knee. His knuckles went white. $15 million. I'd known we were comfortable. Robert had been smart with money. but I hadn't known exactly how smart. Stocks, bonds, real estate investments, properties I'd barely paid attention to while I was busy sentencing felons and arguing precedent. My husband had built an empire while I was building a legal legacy. "Mom," Hannah said. Her voice shook. That's incredible. I had no idea you and Dad were so—" "It's what Robert wanted," Monica interrupted smoothly. "Paula, you have full control. If you need anything, financial advice, estate planning updates to your own will, I'm here." I nodded. Couldn't find words. The room suddenly felt too small, too hot, too full of people looking at me like I was made of gold. Jordan leaned forward. "Ms. Hartwell, Paula, if I may, this is a tremendous amount to manage on your own, especially after such a devastating loss. Have you considered getting some assistance?" Assistance. The word hung in the air like cigarette smoke. "What kind of assistance?" I asked carefully. Hannah jumped in, voice eager. "Mom, why don't you let us move in just for a while? We can help with the house, the bills, all the estate stuff. You shouldn't be alone right now." I looked at my daughter, saw Robert's green eyes staring back at me, same sharp intelligence. But there was something else behind them now, something I couldn't quite name. Desperation calculation. "Move in," I repeated. "Just temporarily," Jordan added, smooth as glass. "We're between places anyway. Our lease is up next month. It would help us and we could help you. Win-win." Between places. That was a lie. I'd seen their Facebook photos 3 weeks ago. 2-bedroom condo in Tempe. Brand new. Granite counters. Stainless steel appliances. Hannah had posted about finally having our dream kitchen. But I was tired. Bone tired. Grief tired. The kind of tired that makes your brain move through mud. Maybe Hannah was right. Maybe I shouldn't be alone in this big house surrounded by Robert's ghost and 43 years of memories. "All right," I heard myself say. "You can stay in the guest suite upstairs." Hannah's face lit up. "Really? Oh, Mom, thank you so much. We'll take such good care of you." Jordan smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. They moved in that night. I told them to wait until the weekend. Give me a few days to process, to breathe, to sit with Robert's absence without feeling like I had to perform for an audience. Jordan said no time like the present. 3 hours later, a U-Haul pulled into my circular driveway. I stood at the upstairs window watching them unload. 6 suitcases, boxes labeled kitchen and office, and Jordan's equipment. A desktop computer that looked like it could run a small country. "Make yourselves at home," I said when they carried the last box through the door. Then I retreated to my bedroom. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling fan. Robert's side of the bed was empty, cold. I reached over and touched his pillow. It still smelled like him Old Spice aftershave and the lavender soap I'd bought from that little shop in Sedona last spring. Downstairs I heard voices, low, urgent, whispering. I couldn't make out words, but I recognized the tone. Conspiratorial, secretive, the kind of conversation people have when they don't want to be overheard. I told myself I was being paranoid. They were probably just discussing where to put furniture, what to unpack first. Normal moving in things. But Robert died 12 hours ago. 12 hours, and they were already here, already unpacking, already whispering in my house like they owned it. I closed my eyes and tried to push the thought away. Maybe grief was making me paranoid. Maybe I was reading malice into nothing. Hannah was my daughter, my only child. She loved me. She wanted to help. Right, I drifted off to sleep, unaware that I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. Unaware that the clock had started ticking on 79 days that would either kill me or save me. I woke to the smell of coffee I didn't make. The house felt different, wrong, like walking into a room and knowing someone moved your furniture an inch to the left. Everything looked the same, but nothing was. I pulled on my robe, the blue one Robert gave me on our 40th anniversary, and shuffled downstairs. My knees complained. 72-year-old joints don't appreciate Saltillo tile at 7 in the morning. The kitchen was bright. Sun streamed through the windows overlooking the courtyard. Robert's herb garden was already wilting in the heat. I'd need to water it. Except I heard Jordan's voice before I rounded the corner. Low, clipped, urgent. "Told you it's handled. Just give me 2 weeks. 3 tops." I paused at the doorway. He had his back to me, phone pressed to his ear, staring out the window toward the infinity pool. "No," he said. She doesn't suspect anything. The old woman's half gone already. Grief does that. My stomach dropped. The old woman. That was me. Half gone. I must have made a sound, a sharp intake of breath, a footstep on the tile, because Jordan spun around. His eyes went wide for half a second before his face rearranged itself into something pleasant. Practiced. Paula, big smile, too big. Morning, sleep okay? Who were you talking to? My voice sounded steadier than I felt. Oh, just work stuff. Boring conference call. He moved to the coffee maker, poured a mug without asking if I wanted any. Here, Black Right Hannah told me you take it black. I took the mug, didn't drink. Work stuff at 7 in the morning. East Coast client, time zones you know how it is. He sipped his own coffee leaning against the counter like he owned the place, which I suddenly realized was probably exactly what he thought. You should sit down, Paula, Jordan said. His voice had that patronizing tone people use with children and the elderly. You look tired. I wasn't tired. I was suspicious. But I sat. We stayed in silence for 30 seconds. 40. Jordan scrolled through his phone. I watched him over the rim of my mug, still not drinking. Then the back door opened. Florence Carver walked in carrying a basket of fresh linens from the dryer in the casita. She'd been with us for 32 years, longer than Hannah had been alive. She knew where every dish went, how I liked my eggs, which brand of coffee I'd drink, and which I'd throw away. She was family. Good morning, Miss Paula, she said warmly. Then she saw Jordan. Her smile dimmed. Mr. Rivers. Florence. Jordan set down his coffee. His tone changed. Cold. Transactional. Like flipping a switch. We need to talk about your salary. Florence blinked. My salary? Yeah, times are tough, you know. Inflation, rising costs. We're looking at cutting expenses across the board. I don't understand. Florence looked at me. Ms. Paula, did you... Paula's not in charge anymore, Jordan interrupted. I am. And frankly, Florence, we can't justify paying you what Robert was paying. Not for part-time work. Part-time? Florence's voice cracked. I work 6 days a week. I've been here 32 years. I know, but things change. Jordan pulled out his phone, started scrolling like this conversation was boring him. So here's what we're thinking. Half salary, same hours. Take it or leave it. I stood up so fast my chair scraped across the tile. Jordan, what the hell are you doing? He turned to me, expression smooth as cream. Just streamlining things, Paula. You don't need to worry about the details. We're taking care of everything. Remember, Florence's salary isn't your business. Actually, Jordan said, pulling up something on his phone. It is. Monica mentioned estate management yesterday. Standard procedure in situations like this. You were upset, distracted. You probably don't even remember signing the authorization. I stared at him. Estate management. Monica never said anything about that. Did she? I'd been in a fog yesterday. Everything after Robert's casket went into the ground was a blur of handshakes and condolences and people telling me to take care of myself. But I would have remembered signing something. Wouldn't I? Jordan smiled. Don't worry about it, Paula. We've got this. He looked back at Florence. Think about the offer. Let us know by tomorrow. Florence looked at me. I saw betrayal in her eyes, like I'd personally taken a knife to 32 years of loyalty. She left without another word. The back door closed with a soft click that sounded like a gunshot. By late afternoon, I realized the landline was dead. I picked up the phone in my study, the old rotary that Robert insisted we keep because it had character, and heard nothing. No dial tone, just silence. I checked the jack, checked the cord. Everything was plugged in. I found Jordan in the garage unloading boxes from the U-Haul he still hadn't returned. The phone's not working, I said. Oh yeah. He didn't look up. We canceled the landline. Waste of money. Everyone uses cell phones now. I don't use a cell phone. Well, he hefted a box labeled books and brushed past me. Maybe it's time to learn Paula. It's 2024. Landlines are for dinosaurs. I stood there in the garage surrounded by Robert's things. His gardening tools, his pottery kiln, the 1970 Plymouth Hemi-Cuda he'd refused to sell because it was a classic. The car gleamed under its cover plum crazy purple peeking through the edges. Something was very, very wrong. Florence fired. Landline cut. Jordan making decisions in my house like I didn't exist. And those 3 words I'd heard this morning still echoing in my skull, the old woman's half gone already. 2 nights without Florence felt like 2 years. No hum of the washing machine at dawn, no smell of fresh coffee brewing at 6, no soft footsteps in the hallway checking if I needed anything. Just silence, and Jordan's voice drifting up from downstairs at odd hours. I couldn't sleep. Hadn't really slept since Robert died, but this was different. This was my body refusing to let my guard down. Some primal instinct keeping me staring at the ceiling listening. Around midnight on day 3 I heard it. Voices, low and urgent, coming from the living room directly below my bedroom. I sat up, heart hammering. Strained to hear through the floorboards. Couldn't make out words, just the cadence. Jordan's voice, no one else's. He was on the phone. I should have stayed in bed. Should have rolled over and told myself it was none of my business. Instead, I pulled on my robe and eased open the bedroom door. The hallway was dark. I moved slowly, one hand on the wall, avoiding the spots where the floor creaked. 40 years in this house. I knew every loose board, every squeaky hinge. I made it to the stairs without a sound. Jordan's voice got clearer as I descended. Told you he's weak, grief-stricken, perfect timing. I froze, 3 steps from the bottom. How long until the medication takes effect? Jordan asked. A man's voice answered, tiny, through speakerphone. 2 to 3 weeks, but you need to be consistent. Every morning, no skipping. And she won't notice. The ketamine will fog her memory. Confusion, disorientation, difficulty concentrating. Classic dementia symptoms. My legs went numb. Ketamine, dementia symptoms. They were talking about me. What about the arsenic? Jordan asked. The other man, calm clinical like he was discussing a recipe, said, that'll look like natural causes. Heart failure, organ shutdown. Happens all the time in women her age. I gripped the banister so hard my knuckles went white. Arsenic, heart failure. They were planning to poison me. Good, Jordan said. The sooner the better. I need access to that estate. $15 million doesn't do me any good if it's locked up in probate for years. Patience, Jordan. The voice on the phone was soothing. Reasonable. Rush this and we'll both end up in prison. Stick to the plan. Small doses. Gradual decline. When she dies, it'll be sad but expected. Elderly widow, recent loss, declining health. No one will question it. What about Hannah? Jordan asked. A dry laugh crackled through the speaker. She'll believe whatever you tell her. She always does. I pressed myself against the wall behind the bookcase. My heart hammered so hard I was sure Jordan could hear it through 2 rooms and a hallway. All right, Jordan said. I'll bring the doctor by tomorrow morning. Make it look official. I'll write the prescription. Something benign sounding. Sleep aid, memory support. Paula won't question it. And if she does, then you convince her. You're good at that. The call ended. I heard Jordan's footsteps cross the living room, heading toward the stairs. I moved fast. Faster than a 72-year-old woman with arthritis should move. Back up the stairs. Avoiding the creaky 3rd step. Into my bedroom. Door closed. Heart slamming against my ribs. I stood there in the dark, shaking. They were going to kill me. Slowly. Methodically. With drugs that would make it look like I'd died of grief or old age or natural causes. And no one would question it. Because who suspects a loving daughter and son-in-law of murdering the grieving widow? Morning came too fast. I'd spent the rest of the night sitting in the reading chair by the window, watching the sun rise over Camelback Mountain. Robert used to say the sunrise here looked like God spilling watercolors across the sky. I used to think he was being poetic. Now I just wondered how many more of them I'd see. At 8:30, the doorbell rang. I heard Hannah answer it downstairs. Oh, hello, you must be Dr. Foster. Come in, come in. Mom's in her room. I'll get her. She knocked softly on my door. Mom, there's a doctor here to see you. Jordan thought it would be good for you to get a checkup. You know, after everything with Dad. I opened the door, put on my best confused old woman face. A doctor. Yes, Mom, just routine. Come on down. Dr. Gerald Foster was 60, trim, wire-rimmed glasses, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He shook my hand in the living room medical bag at his feet. Ms. Hartwell, I'm Dr. Foster. Your son-in-law asked me to check in on you. I understand you've suffered a recent loss. My condolences. Thank you, I said quietly. He took my blood pressure, checked my pulse, Asked generic questions about sleep, appetite, mood. Jordan stood in the corner, arms crossed, watching. "Everything looks fine," Foster said, scribbling notes on a pad. "But given your age and the stress you're under, I'd like to prescribe something to help you rest. Memory support, sleep aid. Just 1 pill each morning with breakfast." He handed me a prescription bottle. White capsules, no label. "1 each morning," Foster repeated. "You'll feel better in no time." Jordan stepped forward. "I'll make sure she takes them. We don't want Mom forgetting, do we?" Foster smiled. "Excellent. Call me if there are any issues." Then he was gone. Jordan poured a glass of water, shook 1 white capsule into his palm. "Here, Paula. Doctor's orders." I looked at the pill. Ketamine and arsenic wrapped in a gel capsule. Murder disguised as medicine. Hannah hovered nearby, worry creasing her forehead. "It's okay, Mom. It'll help you sleep." I had 2 choices. Refuse the pill and let them know I was onto them. They'd change tactics. Maybe do something faster, more violent. Or take the pill and buy myself time. I put the capsule in my mouth, took a sip of water, let Jordan see me swallow. "Good dude," he said, patting my shoulder like I was a dog who'd learned a trick. That wasn't so hard, was it? I kept the pill tucked under my tongue until they left the room. Then I spit it into my hand. That night I sat on my bed and stared at the white capsule in my palm. Ketamine, arsenic, murder. I could call the police, tell them everything. An overheard phone call, a prescription from a sketchy doctor, a son-in-law who'd said the old woman's half gone already. But what did I have an overheard conversation that Jordan would deny? A licensed doctor who'd say he was treating grief-induced anxiety. A son-in-law who'd tell the police I was confused, paranoid, suffering from grief-induced dementia. They'd never believe me. No. If I was going to stop this, I needed evidence. Real evidence. Undeniable. Courtroom-ready evidence. I'd spent 40 years as a federal judge. I knew how the system worked. I knew what prosecutors needed to build a case, and I was damn well going to give it to them. Jordan and this Dr. Foster, whoever he was, thought they were clever. Thought they could poison an old woman and get away with it. They had no idea who they were dealing with. The gavel was back in session, and this time I was judge, jury, and prosecutor. The 4th morning, Jordan handed me the pill with orange juice. "Don't forget Paula. Doctor's orders." I took it, held it on my tongue, swallowed the juice. Jordan watched my throat, nodded. Good. The second he left the kitchen, I spit the capsule into my napkin. Upstairs, I dropped it into a Ziploc bag. Wrote day 4 on masking tape. Sealed it. 4 pills. 4 days of evidence. But pills alone wouldn't convict anyone. I needed more. Documentation, recordings, a paper trail they couldn't deny. I needed tools, and I needed them without Jordan knowing. That afternoon, I told Hannah I wanted to take a walk. "A walk?" She looked surprised. "Mom, it's hot out." "The doctor said exercise is good for grief." I kept my voice mild, confused, like I was trying to remember something I'd read once. Jordan glanced up from his laptop, studied me for 3 long seconds, then shrugged. "Let her go. Fresh air might help." Help, right. I grabbed a baseball cap and water bottle, walked out the front gate into the August heat. 110 degrees. Easy. Arizona summer that turns pavement into griddles and makes the air shimmer like water. But I couldn't risk calling a taxi. Couldn't risk anyone knowing where I was going. So I walked. 2 miles took me 40 minutes. My knees screamed. Sweat soaked through my shirt, but I kept going. The convenience store sat between a nail salon and a dry cleaner on Scottsdale Road. Bell jingled when I walked in. Cold air, fluorescent lights. The clerk was maybe 20, scrolling his phone behind the counter. "Need a prepaid phone," I said. "And a laptop, cheapest you've got." He looked up. Sweaty old woman, breathing hard, probably thought I was having a heat stroke. "Got Nokias for $40. Laptops, we don't sell those. Try Best Buy. Here, now, cash." He blinked. "There's a used Dell someone traded, $300. It's slow." "I'll take it, and the Nokia." He rang it up. $450 total. You want a receipt? No. I paid in 20s. Walked out before he could ask questions. Getting the stuff back into the house was the tricky part. Couldn't walk through the front door with a plastic bag. Jordan would see. I went around back, through the side gate, into the garage, through the exterior door, the one Robert never locked because he was always forgetting his keys. The garage smelled like motor oil and dust. Robert's Hemi Cuda sat under its cover in the center bay, plum-crazy purple paint hidden beneath beige canvas, worth $280,000, his pride and joy. I lifted the cover's edge, slid the bag underneath against the rear tire. Then I went inside through the kitchen door. Jordan was drinking iced tea. "How was the walk? Hot?" "You look tired. Maybe rest." "Maybe." Upstairs I lay on the bed, waited, listened to my heartbeat slow. At 3 a.m, I snuck into the garage. The house was silent. I eased the door open, flipped on the dim work light, pulled the laptop from under the Cuda's cover, booted it. Slow, Windows Vista, ancient, but it worked. I opened Word, created a new document. Evidence log, Paula Hartwell, VC Jordan Rivers, started typing. Day 0, Robert's funeral. Hannah and Jordan moved in immediately. Overheard whispers that night. Day 17:00 a.m. Jordan on phone. The old woman's half gone already. Day 12, Florence Carver fired without authorization. Landline disconnected without consent. Day 3, 12:00 a.m. Overheard murder conspiracy. Jordan plus unidentified male, likely Dr. Gerald Foster, discussing plan to poison with ketamine and arsenic. Quote, "It'll look like natural causes. Heart failure, organ shutdown." Day 4, Dr. Foster visited. Prescribed white capsules, no label. Jordan supervised ingestion. Faked swallowing. Pill collected. Day 4 to 7, 4 pills collected in Ziploc bags labeled by date. Every detail. Times. Dates. Exact quotes when I could remember them. I saved the file. Shut down. Hid the laptop back under the car cover. Went to bed. My body was exhausted, but my mind was crystal clear. Jordan needed to believe the drugs were working, that I was slipping, confused, losing my grip on reality. So I started the performance. I came downstairs at 7 in my pajamas, hair uncombed, barefoot, stared at Hannah making coffee. She turned. "Morning, Mom. Want some? Who are you?" I let my voice shake. "What are you doing in my house?" Her smile died. "What? Who are you?" "Mom, it's me. Hannah, your daughter." I squinted, let confusion cloud my face. Hannah's 10 years old. She has braces." Hannah's face went pale. "Mom," Jordan appeared behind her. I caught the flash of satisfaction in his eyes before he masked it. "Paula, hey, it's okay." He stepped forward slowly, like approaching a spooked horse. "You're confused. Let's get you some breakfast." "I don't know you." I backed toward the stairs. "Either of you. Where's Robert? Where's my husband?" "Mom?" Hannah's eyes filled with tears. "Dad's gone. He passed away. Remember?" I looked around the kitchen like seeing it for the first time. "No, that's not right. He was just here." "Mom, please. Get away from me." I stumbled up the stairs. "I don't know who you people are." Behind me, I heard Hannah crying, heard Jordan's voice low and satisfied. "It's happening faster than we thought." I closed my bedroom door, walked to the window, looked out at Camelback Mountain. In my head, I wasn't confused at all. I was building a case, piece by piece, evidence by evidence. The gavel was back in session, and I was winning. Florence knocked on my door before sunrise on day 15. I'd barely slept. Jordan had started giving me 2 pills a day now. "Doctor's orders," he said, morning and evening. I faked swallowing both, added them to my collection. 26 pills now, all carefully dated and sealed. "Miss Paula," Florence's voice was barely a whisper through the door. "May I come in?" I opened it. She looked like she'd been crying. "I'm so sorry to bother you," she said, "but I need to tell you something." "Come in." She stepped inside, closed the door. They asked me to leave, effective immediately. "What?" "Mr. Rivers called me last night, said my services were no longer required. He's wiring me 2 weeks severance, but I'm not allowed back on the property." My chest tightened. "Florence, I didn't authorize that." "I know." Her voice broke. "I know you didn't, but he said he has authority now. Legal authority." She wiped her eyes. "I've worked here 32 years, Ms. Paula. I cleaned Hannah's scraped knees when she was 6. I held Mr. Roberts' hand the night before he—" She couldn't finish. "Florence," I gripped her hand. "Please be careful. I don't know what they're planning, but it's not good." She looked at me. Really looked. And I saw the exact moment she realized I wasn't confused at all. "Ms. Paula," she whispered. "Are you—" "I can't explain. Not yet. But I need you to trust me." She squeezed my hand hard. "I'm praying for you. Every night." Then she was gone. I stood at the window and watched her old Ford Escape roll down the driveway for the last time. Watched the gate close behind her with a metallic clang. Landline cut. Florence fired. Jordan making decisions like I didn't exist. I wasn't paranoid. I was being isolated. And the question wasn't if something bad was coming. It was when. I needed proof the pills were lethal. Something undeniable. On day 22, I took one of the capsules to the courtyard. Robert had kept a small saguaro cactus in a terracotta pot by the back door. Baby saguaro maybe 2 feet tall. He'd had it for years. Watered it once a week. Talked to it like it was a pet. I crushed the day 15 pill with the back of a spoon. White powder. Mixed it with a cup of water. Poured it into the soil around the cactus. If I was right about the arsenic, the plant would show symptoms within 48 hours. Day 24. Morning. The cactus was dying. I checked it at dawn. The arms had turned yellow. The flesh was soft, collapsing inward. Rot spreading from the base up. Arsenic poisoning. Classic phytotoxicity. I photographed it from every angle with the Nokia. Close-ups of the yellowing skin, the blackened roots, the soil where I'd poured the dissolved pill. Then I went to the garage. Updated the evidence log. Day 22-24, arsenic toxicity confirmed via saguaro death. Plant showed rapid necrosis consistent with heavy metal poisoning. Photos attached. I had it now. Proof the pills were lethal. Proof they weren't memory support or sleep aids. They were poison. 3 in the morning. Garage. Work light casting shadows across the Kuda's cover. I pulled out the Nokia. Dialed the number I'd memorized 40 years ago. Monica's personal cell. The one she gave trusted clients for emergencies. It rang 4 times. "This better be life or death." Monica's voice. Groggy with sleep. "Monica, it's Paula." Silence. Then, "Paula. Jesus Christ, Paula. I thought—" She stopped. "Are you okay?" "Where are you calling from?" "I'm home. I'm fine, but I need your help." Quietly. "What's going on?" "I need you to prepare guardianship opposition papers. Full contest. Criminal complaint attached." Another silence. Longer this time. "Paula, Jordan called me last week. Said you were declining rapidly. Dementia symptoms. He wanted to discuss conservatorship options." "I know what he told you. He's lying." "Are you sure you're—" "Monica," I cut her off. "I'm not confused. I'm being poisoned. Jordan and a doctor named Gerald Foster are drugging me with ketamine and arsenic. Slowly. So it looks like natural causes." That's a serious accusation." "I have evidence. Audio recordings. The pills they're giving me. Financial documents showing $620,000 in wire fraud. I need you to file opposition papers. But don't tell anyone. Not yet." "Paula." Monica's voice was careful. "Do you trust me?" "Yes." "Then trust me now. Prepare the papers. I'll bring you everything when the time is right." "When? Soon. I need more evidence first. But Monica, they're planning to kill me. And if I don't stop them, I'll be dead in 2 weeks." I could hear her breathing on the other end. Processing. "What do you need me to do?" she asked quietly. "Have the papers ready. Emergency hearing. Criminal charges, attempted murder, elder abuse, wire fraud. I'll call you when it's time." "Okay, but Paula, be careful. If they suspect you know—" "They won't. As far as they're concerned, I can barely remember my own name." "God, Paula. How long has this been going on?" 28 days, but who's counting?" "I'll have everything ready. Call me when you need me." "Thank you." I hung up. Sat there in the dark garage, phone in my hand. I had the financial evidence now. Wire fraud, shell company, forged documents. But I needed more. I needed motive, means, opportunity, the full picture. Because when I walked into that courtroom, I wasn't just going to accuse Jordan of trying to kill me. I was going to bury him. They went out for dinner on day 35. Anniversary, Jordan said. 3 years. "We'll be at Durant's," he told me. "Don't wait up, Paula." I nodded from my chair. Stared at the wall like I'd forgotten how to focus. "Will you be okay, Mom?" Hannah asked, genuine worry in her voice. "She'll be fine," Jordan said. "We're just a phone call away. Right, Paula?" Except I didn't have a phone. They'd made sure of that. I watched them leave through the front window, waited until Jordan's Audi disappeared down Paradise Lane, checked my watch. Durant's was downtown. 30 minutes there. 2-hour dinner minimum. 30 minutes back. I had a window. Small one. I headed upstairs. Jordan had converted the second-floor sitting room into his office. Desk, filing cabinet, desktop computer. The room smelled like his cologne, something expensive and aggressive. I tried the desk drawers. Top one locked, second one locked, third one open. Inside a manila folder labeled Financial PH. Paula Hartwell. My hands shook as I pulled it out. Bank statements. Wells Fargo. My main account. The one Robert and I used for everything. Except now it showed withdrawals I didn't make. I flipped through the pages. 15 transactions over 9 days. All between $45,000 and $49,000. All marked transfer to GNC Holdings LLC. $620,000. Gone. That was retirement money. Investments Robert spent decades building. Our safety net. And Jordan had been siphoning it like draining a gas tank. I pulled out the Nokia. Started photographing every page. Had to hold the phone steady. My hands wanted to shake with rage. Then I saw the incorporation papers. GNC Holdings, LLC, filed with Arizona Corporation Commission. Date 2 weeks before Robert died. Registered address, 8425 N, Paradise Lane, Paradise Valley. My address, registered agents Jordan A. Rivers and Hannah Hartwell Rivers. They'd created a shell company, using my home address. Probably forged my signature on the authorization forms. Classic fraud. The kind that gets you 5 to 10 in federal prison. I photographed everything. Then I heard it. The front door opening. My stomach dropped. "I'll just grab it real quick." Jordan's voice echoed from downstairs. 2 seconds. Footsteps on the stairs. I moved fast. Shoved the folder back in the drawer. Closed it. Hit the light switch. The room went dark. The sofa. I needed to... The door opened. I was halfway to the sofa when light flooded the room. Jordan stood in the doorway. We locked eyes. Then I let my knees buckle. Collapsed onto the sofa like my legs gave out. Let my mouth hang open. Started snoring. Loud, wet old woman snores. Jordan stepped closer. Stared at me. I kept my breathing deep. Regular. Drool pooled at the corner of my mouth. He shook his head. "Pathetic old bitch." Grabbed his wallet from the desk. Turned off the light. Left. I stayed frozen on the sofa. Listened to his footsteps down the stairs. The front door closing. The Audi starting up again. Waited 5 full minutes. Then I got up. Turned the light back on. And finished photographing every damn page in that folder. I went to the garage on day 41 to check on the laptop. Hit the light switch. The fluorescents flickered on. The center bay was empty. I stood there, staring at bare concrete where Robert's 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda should have been. $280,000 worth of American muscle. Plum crazy purple paint. Original 426 Hemi engine. Robert bought it in 1995 for $30,000. Kept it pristine for 30 years. Gone. Just a dark oil stain on the floor. Couple of dried drips leading toward the garage door. I knelt down. My knees popped. Ran my fingers through the oil. Still tacky. Recent. Something glinted near the drain. I picked it up. Stripped ignition wire. Cut ends. Copper exposed. Hot-wired. Somebody hot-wired a $250,000 classic car like a teenage joyrider. The laptop was still there, tucked in the far corner under a paint-stained tarp. The Nokia too, but Robert's car was gone. I walked back inside. Jordan was in the kitchen, scrolling his phone, drinking coffee. "Where's my car?" I asked. He looked up. "Your car. The Hemi Cuda. The purple one. Where is it?" He set down his phone, gave me that patronizing smile. "Paula, you haven't had a car in years. You don't even have a driver's license anymore." "I have a license, and I have a car. Had a car. It was in the garage." "Mom." Hannah appeared from the living room, concern creasing her forehead. "You're confused. You haven't driven in, I don't know, 5 years, maybe more." "I'm not confused. There was a car in that garage yesterday, a 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. Your father's car. Jordan and Hannah exchanged a look. The kind of look you give each other when dealing with a dementia patient. Okay, Paula, Jordan said it slowly, like talking to a child. Let's get you some water. You're probably dehydrated. It's hot today. I let him guide me to a chair, accepted the glass of water, let confusion cloud my face. Maybe I'm wrong, I mumbled. It's okay, Mom. Hannah rubbed my shoulder. It happens. But it didn't just happen. They stole Robert's car. 2 days later, I checked the bedroom. Robert's jewelry box sat on the dresser. Mahogany, inlaid mother of pearl. A gift from his mother 50 years ago. I opened it. Empty. Every drawer, every compartment. Cleaned out. The pearl necklace. $75,000. Insured. Appraised last year. Gone. His father's wedding ring. Gold bracelets from our anniversary trips. Diamond cufflinks. All of it. Gone. I went downstairs. Checked the trash cans in the kitchen. Nothing. Living room trash. Found it. Crumpled receipt from Silver's pawn shop. Pearl necklace. Estate sale. Payout $18,000, $75,000 worth of jewelry. Pawned for $18,000. I photographed the receipt with the Nokia. Smoothed it out. Put it in my pocket. They weren't just stealing from me. They were liquidating. Fast. Dumping assets for quick cash like the house was on fire. And there was only one reason to move that fast. Hannah and Jordan went to Phoenix on day 52. Wedding, they said. Be gone all day. Will you be okay, Mom? I stared at my oatmeal. Didn't answer. She'll be fine, Jordan said. Come on, we're already late. I watched them pull away. Checked my watch. Wedding ceremony, reception, travel time. 6 hours, minimum. I went upstairs. Their bedroom had become Jordan's command center. Laptop on the desk, clothes everywhere, bed unmade. I started with the obvious places. Desk drawers locked, closet shelves nothing but shoes and luggage. Then I looked under the bed. Black leather suitcase, combination lock. I knelt down, pulled it out. The lock was cheap, 3-digit spinner. I tried Jordan's birthday. Nothing. Hannah's birthday. Nothing. Then I remembered something. A case from 1995. Burglary suspect. The defense attorney argued the lock was defective. Factory reset was €0. I tried it. Nothing. Tried 8425. Our house number. Click. The case opened. Inside stacks of $100 bills. Rubber banded. Organized. I counted fast. $35,000. Next to the cash, a Glock 19. Black polymer frame. Loaded magazine. One in the chamber. My hands shook as I photographed it. The gun, the money, the whole damn case. Why does a man need a loaded gun hidden under his bed unless he's planning to use it? I searched the closet next. Jordan's jackets. Checked every pocket. Found his wallet in a brown leather blazer. Opened it. Driver's license. Credit cards. Gym membership he probably never used. And a folded piece of paper. Heavy stock. Looked official. I unfolded it. Promissory note. Borrower, Jordan A. Rivers. Lender, Vincent DeLuca. Principal, $340,000. Interest rate, 15% per week. Final payment due, October 15th, 2024. Collateral property deed. 8425N, Paradise Lane, Paradise Valley, AZ, 85253. My house. My home. Collateral for Jordan's debt. $340,000 at 15% weekly interest. That was $51,000 every week. Just in interest. Loan shark territory. The kind of debt that gets people killed. And October 15th was 25 days away. I photographed every word. Put the wallet back exactly where I found it. The laptop sat on the desk, closed but not locked. I opened it. Password prompt. Tried Hannah 1982. Her birth year. Incorrect. Tried Jordan 1978. Incorrect. Thought for a second. Tried Paradise 1924. The desktop loaded. I opened the browser history. Didn't have to scroll far. PokerStars, Bet365, DraftKings, FanDuel, a dozen offshore gambling sites. Transaction history showed deposits. Lots of them. 10,000 here, 20,000 there. All marked lost. I opened his email. Found confirmations from online casinos. Withdrawal denials. Account suspensions for unpaid balances. 2 years of losses. $480,000. Nearly $500,000 pissed away on bad bets and worse luck. I plugged in a USB drive I'd bought with the Nokia, copied everything, browser history, emails, financial records, ejected the drive, closed the laptop. Jordan wasn't just greedy, he was drowning, and he was willing to murder me to stay afloat. I heard them fighting on day 55, late, maybe midnight. I was in my room updating the evidence log when their voices came through the wall. "You said we'd just take enough to cover your debt." Hannah's voice, high, strained. "Not steal everything? Keep your voice down." "No, I won't keep your voice down. You lied to me, Jordan. You said this was temporary. I said what I needed to say to get you on board, and now you're too deep to back out. He's my mother, and she's in the way." Jordan's voice went cold. "If you can't handle this, I'll do it myself." A door slammed. Then I heard it. Hannah, crying. Deep, broken sobs. I stood in the hallway, listened. Part of me wanted to go to her, to tell her it was okay, that I understood, that I'd forgive her if she helped me, but I didn't move, because Hannah had made her choices. She'd moved into my house the day Robert died. She'd watched Jordan isolate me, drug me, steal from me, and she'd said nothing. Maybe she was starting to see the monster she married, but it might be too late for both of us. Jordan left early on day 59. "Meeting with a client," he told Hannah at breakfast, kissed her cheek. "Be back by noon." I watched from my chair, oatmeal untouched, pretending not to follow the conversation. The moment his car pulled away, Hannah went upstairs. I waited 5 minutes, then followed. I stood in the hallway outside their bedroom, door half open. I could see her moving around inside. She was gathering laundry, Jordan's jackets from the closet, checking pockets before throwing them in the hamper habit she'd learned from me. Then she pulled something from the brown leather blazer. The wallet. It slipped from her hands, hit the floor. Contents spilled across the hardwood. I watched through the crack in the door as she knelt down, picked up the folded paper, unfolded it. I saw the exact moment she read the promissory note. Her face went white, hand trembling. $340,000, she whispered. Collateral. Mom's house. She dropped the paper like it burned her, started tearing through Jordan's pockets, frantic now. Found a business card. Cooper's Classic Cars. Recent acquisition, 1970, Plymouth Hemi Cuda. She stared at it. I could see her mind working, remembering. Mom's car, she said to herself. Jordan said it was sold years ago, but this is dated last month. She stood up, looked around the room like seeing it for the first time. Then she dropped to her knees, looked under the bed, pulled out the black suitcase. The lock was already open. Jordan must have been in a hurry this morning. Forgot to spin the tumblers. She lifted the lid. I heard her gasp. Stacks of $100 bills. And the gun. She lifted the Glock with both hands, stared at it. Tears started running down her face. "Oh my God," she whispered. "What have I done?" That's when I stepped into the doorway. She looked up, saw me standing there. Our eyes met. And for 3 seconds I forgot to play the role. My gaze was clear, sharp, completely lucid. I saw her register it, saw the shock ripple across her face. "Mom, are you—" Then we both heard it. Jordan's Audi, pulling into the driveway. I turned away fast, started mumbling. "Robert, where's Robert? I need Robert." Shuffled toward the stairs. Behind me, I heard Hannah scrambling, shoving the gun back in the case, closing it, pushing it under the bed. "Hannah." Jordan's voice echoed from downstairs. "Where are you?" "Up here." Her voice cracked. She cleared her throat. "Just doing laundry." Footsteps on the stairs. Heavy. Fast. I was halfway down the hall when Jordan appeared at the top of the landing. He looked at me, then at Hannah, emerging from their bedroom, face flushed, eyes red. "What's going on?" he asked slowly. "Nothing. Just cleaning." She wiped her face. "Allergies." Jordan studied her, walked past me into the bedroom. I heard him checking. Drawers, closet, under the bed. I kept shuffling toward my room, heard him come back out. "You look pale," he said to Hannah. "You feeling okay?" "I'm fine." "You sure? Because we've got a lot to do. Court date in 2 weeks. We need to finalize the Desert Haven paperwork, Transfer the remaining accounts. This is crunch time, babe. I need you focused. I'm focused. Good. He kissed her forehead. I'm going to take a shower. Then we'll go over the timeline. He disappeared into the bathroom. Water started running. I glanced back, saw Hannah standing in the hallway, staring at nothing. She looked like someone who'd just realized she was standing on the edge of a cliff, and the ground was crumbling beneath her feet. That night I heard her crying, quiet sobs through the wall, trying not to wake Jordan. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening. Hannah was finally seeing it. The gun, the debt, the lies, the stolen car. Florence fired. My dementia that conveniently started the day after Robert died. All the pieces were clicking into place. But what would she do about it? That was the question. She could come to me, confess, help me stop Jordan. Or she could keep quiet. Too afraid. Too complicit. Too late. I didn't know which way she'd break, and I couldn't wait to find out. Because in 2 weeks I'd be in court, and Hannah would have to choose a side. I got up, went to the window, looked out at the empty courtyard, at Robert's dead herb garden, at the space where the Hemakuta used to sit. Hannah was in that bedroom right now, lying next to a man who'd manipulated her into helping him murder her own mother. A man she'd loved, trusted, married. A man who had a loaded gun under his bed and 340,000 reasons to pull the trigger. She wanted to run. I could feel it. She wanted to scream, to call the police, to undo everything. But she was terrified. Terrified of Jordan. Terrified of the truth. Terrified of what she'd already done. And maybe, just maybe, it was already too late for her. But not for me. I'd survived 59 days. 20 more to go. 20 days until court. 20 days until the gavel fell. And when it did, the whole world would know what Jordan Rivers had tried to do. I opened the laptop, added to the evidence log. Day 52 discovered $35,000 cash and loaded Glock 19 in Jordan's suitcase. Promissory note $340,000 owed to Vincent DeLuca, 15% weekly interest, due October 15th. Collateral, my property deed. Loan shark debt. Gambling history, $480,000 lost over 2 years. Day 55, overheard argument. Hannah, you said we'd just take enough to cover your debt. Jordan, if you can't handle this, I'll do it myself. Day 59, Hannah discovered the evidence. Saw promissory note business card for Hemakuta sale cash and gun. She knows. But will she act? I saved the file. Closed the laptop. Sat there in the dark. Jordan thought he was checkmating me. He had no idea he'd just handed me the rope to hang him with. Jordan called me down to the living room on day 65. Paula, we need you for a minute. I shuffled in. Found him sitting at the coffee table. Stack of papers spread out like a contract negotiation. Hannah stood beside him, hands clasped, nervous. Have a seat, Paula. Jordan patted the couch cushion beside him. I sat. He slid the papers in front of me. Official looking. Lots of legal language. My eyes caught key phrases. Durable power of attorney. Petition for guardianship. Incapacity determination. My stomach tightened. What is this? I asked. Just some paperwork to help us take care of you better, Jordan said smoothly. With your condition declining, we need legal authority to manage your finances, medical decisions, that kind of thing. It's standard stuff. Monica probably mentioned it. Monica never mentioned this, because Monica knew I was competent. But if I refused to sign, Jordan would know I was onto him. I don't understand, I said slowly. You don't need to understand Paula. You just need to trust us. Jordan's smile didn't reach his eyes. You trust me, right? I looked at Hannah. She nodded, trying to look reassuring, but her hands were shaking. It's okay, Mom. It's just to make sure you're taken care of. I had a choice. Refuse and blow my cover, or sign and leave evidence of coercion. Where do I sign? I asked. Jordan's smile widened. He pulled a pen from his pocket. Mont Blanc. Expensive. I took it, let my hand tremble. Then I switched the pen to my left hand. Awkward. Unnatural. I'm right-handed. Have been my whole life. I scrawled Paula Hartwell across the signature line. Letters slanted wrong. Shaky. Nothing like my actual signature. Jordan didn't notice. He was too busy watching my face. making sure I stayed confused. "Good," he said, gathered the papers, slid them into his briefcase. "That wasn't so hard, was it?" I stared at the table. Then Hannah spoke. "Mom, are you feeling all right?" I looked up, met her eyes, and for just a second I forgot to play the role. My gaze was clear, sharp, focused. I saw her register it, saw confusion flicker across her face. "Mom!" I turned away fast, looked out the window, let my mouth go slack, started mumbling. "Robert, where's Robert? I need to find Robert." Jordan grabbed Hannah's arm, squeezed. "He's fine. Let's go." He pulled her out of the room. I waited, counted to 60. Then I pulled the Nokia from my pocket, set it on the bookshelf in the corner, angled toward the center of the room, hit record, hid it behind a row of law books, left the room. 10 minutes later, I heard Jordan come back downstairs, heard his voice, on the phone, speaker mode. "Yeah, I got her signature. Power of attorney is done. Now we can move the rest of the money." A man's voice through the speaker. "Good. What about the guardianship? Court date's in 6 weeks. But between you and me, she'll be in a facility or dead by then. Either way, we win." "You sure she doesn't suspect?" Jordan laughed. "The woman asked me who the mailman was yesterday. She's gone. Trust me." "All right. I'll start prepping the conservatorship paperwork. Once you have guardianship, the estate is yours." "Not mine. Ours. Don't forget your cut, Foster." Foster. Dr. Gerald Foster. The voice I'd heard on day 3. "I won't," Foster said. "Just keep her on the medication. 2 pills morning and evening. Her organs should start failing within 2 weeks." Perfect. The call ended. I slipped into the living room, retrieved the Nokia, stopped the recording, saved the file. Coercion evidence. Day 65. MP4. I told Hannah I had a doctor's appointment. "For what?" Jordan asked, suspicious. "Blood pressure," I said. Let my voice waver. The place said I need to come in." He looked at Hannah. She shrugged. "Maybe it's good. She should get checked out before Desert Haven." Desert Haven. The nursing home where they planned to dump me, where I'd die quietly in a room that smelled like abandonment. "Fine," Jordan said, "but I'm driving you." "No need. They said they'd send a car." I'd called a taxi, gave the driver Monica's office address, 20 minutes across town. Jordan watched me get in. I saw him write down the cab number. Didn't matter. After today, he'd know everything anyway. Monica's office was on the 14th floor. Glass walls, leather furniture, view of Camelback Mountain. She stood when I walked in. "Paula, Jesus, you look like hell." I was going to say thin. I managed to smile. "Have you been eating? Hard to keep food down when your son-in-law is trying to poison you." I pulled the USB drive from my pocket, set it on her desk. "Everything's on here. Bank statements, audio recordings, photos, documents, the whole case." Monica plugged it into her laptop, started scrolling through files. I watched her face change, pale, then red, then pale again. "Paula," she looked up. "This is attempted murder, elder abuse, wire fraud, grand larceny, conspiracy." She paused. "This is federal and state charges. Jordan could get 25 years, maybe more." "Good." "And Hannah," Monica's voice softened. "Hannah is complicit. She moved in the day Robert died. She watched him isolate you, drug you, steal from you. She knew." My throat tightened. "I know." "Are you sure you want to do this? She's your daughter." She made her choice. Silence. Monica nodded slowly. "All right. I'll file an emergency opposition to the guardianship petition. Add criminal complaints. Motion for restraining order. We'll request an expedited hearing." "How fast?" "With evidence like this." Monica smiled. 2 weeks, maybe less." "And the judge?" "I'll request Patrick Monroe. He owes you for that case in 2004. His daughter's DUI. You gave her diversion instead of jail time. Changed her life." "Monroe doesn't owe me anything, but he'll do what's right." "That's why I'm requesting him." Monica closed the laptop. "Paula, this is going to get ugly. Are you prepared for that?" I thought about Robert, about Florence, about the 59 pills in Ziploc bags, about the dead cactus and the stolen car and the loaded gun under Jordan's bed. "I've been preparing for 66 days, she said. The doorbell rang at 4 in the afternoon on day 68. I was in the living room, staring at the TV. Jeopardy, Robert's favorite. Jordan opened the door. Officer Michael Harris stood on the porch in uniform. Another officer behind him. Jordan Rivers and Hannah Hartwell Rivers. That's us, Jordan said, forced smile. What's this about you're being served? Harris handed them each a manila envelope. Court summons. You're required to appear on September 19th regarding allegations of elder abuse and fraud. Jordan tore open the envelope. Read. His face went from confusion to fury in 3 seconds. He ripped the paper in half. She doesn't even know her own name. She can't file a lawsuit. Sir, destroying a court summons is a misdemeanor. I suggest you calm down. Hannah opened hers slowly. Read. Her hands trembled. Paula Hartwell, petitioner. Emergency opposition to guardianship. Criminal complaint. She looked at Jordan. What if she's been faking this whole time? Jordan's face twisted. Impossible. I've been watching her. She's a vegetable. Then why is Monica Reeves representing her? Hannah's voice shook. She's one of the best attorneys in Phoenix. Jordan didn't answer, just stared at the summons like it was a bomb. Harris cleared his throat. You have 12 days to secure legal representation. I recommend you do so immediately. He tipped his hat. Left. The door closed. Jordan stood there, paper crumpled in his fist. Then he looked at me. I was still staring at the TV, drool on my chin, eyes unfocused. He walked over, crouched in front of me, studied my face. Paula, do you know what just happened? I blinked slowly. Jeopardy's on. He grabbed my shoulders, shook me. Did you talk to Monica? Did you file this? Who's Monica? He shoved me back into the chair, walked to the kitchen. I heard him pacing, muttering. Then his phone rang. That night I stood outside the living room, Nokia recording in my pocket. Jordan was on the phone, speaker mode. We've got a problem, he said. Court date in 12 days. If the old woman shows up lucid, we're done. Dr. Foster's voice. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we can't wait. We move tonight. Tonight, Jesus, Jordan. I don't care. If she walks into that courtroom and Monica puts her on the stand, we go to prison. Both of us. Silence on the line. What do you want to do? Foster asked carefully. Stage an accident. A fall down the stairs. Head injury. Natural for a woman her age with balance issues. You're talking about murder. I'm talking about survival. You in or out, Foster? Another pause. When tonight, after Hannah's asleep, I'll call you when it's done. Jesus, all right, just be ready to sign the death certificate. Accidental fall, blunt force trauma. Make it clean. The call ended. I stood in the hallway, recording in my hand. They were going to kill me tonight. Push me down the stairs. Crack my skull. Call it an accident. 12 days to trial. And Jordan couldn't wait 12 more hours. I had 2 choices. Run. Call the police now. Hope they believed me. Or stay. Let Jordan try. And catch him in the act. I went to my room, opened the laptop, saved the audio file, sent it to Monica. Subject murder attempt planned tonight. If anything happens to me, you have everything. Her reply came fast. I'm calling the police. I wrote back. No, I need him to try. I need proof. Paula, this is insane. Trust me. I closed the laptop, sat on the edge of the bed. Tonight, Jordan Rivers was going to try to kill me, and I was going to let him, because the only way to win this case wasn't just to show that he wanted me dead. It was to prove he tried. 11:47 p.m. I lay in bed, fully dressed under the covers, lights off, door unlocked, Nokia in my right hand, recording, waiting. I'd been waiting since 9, since Hannah went to bed, since Jordan said goodnight and closed their bedroom door. I knew he was coming. The only question was when. At 11:47 I heard it. Footsteps, slow, careful, trying not to make the floorboards creak. I closed my eyes, slowed my breathing, let my mouth fall open slightly. The door opened, inch by inch. Light from the hallway cut across the floor, then disappeared as the door closed. Darkness. I felt him move closer, smelled his cologne, heard his breath. Then I felt his weight on the bed. Felt his hands reach for something. The pillow. He was going to smother me. His hands pressed down on the pillow, moving toward my face. I rolled hard to the left, hit the lamp. Light flooded the room. Jordan froze. pillow in both hands, eyes wide. "Jordan," I said. He stared, mouth open, looking for words. You're awake." "I've been awake for 76 days, every single one." "That's impossible. The drugs, I never took them." I held up the Nokia. "I've been collecting evidence while you thought I was drooling into my oatmeal. It's all on here. Every word you just said, every step you just took. Attempted murder Jordan. That's 15 to life in Arizona." His face went from shock to rage. He lunged. I rolled off the bed, stumbled toward the door. He caught my arm, spun me around, shoved me toward the hallway, toward the stairs. I twisted, grabbed the doorframe. He lost his grip. His momentum carried him forward. He hit the railing, flipped over, fell. 5 steps, hard. I slammed my hand on the hallway light switch. "Hannah, call 911. Jordan groaned at the bottom of the stairs, pushed himself up, blood on his lip. "She attacked me," he yelled, pointing up at me. "The crazy old bitch tried to kill me." Hannah appeared in their bedroom doorway, hair wild, eyes confused. What's happening?" "He attacked me," I said, held up the Nokia, hit playback. My voice came through the speaker. "I've been awake for 76 days, every single one." Jordan's voice. "That's impossible. The drugs," my voice. "I never took them." Hannah's hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God. Mom was right. You were poisoning her." "Shut up," Jordan snarled. He charged up the stairs. I ran, made it to the garage door, got through, slammed it, locked it from inside. Jordan pounded on it. "Open this door, old woman." I grabbed the landline Robert had installed in the garage years ago. She'd insisted. Said I spent too much time out here and needed a phone. Dialed 911. "This is Paula Hartwell, 8425 North Paradise Lane. My son-in-law just attempted to murder me. I have evidence. Audio, video, documents. Send officers now." The dispatcher's voice was calm. "Ma'am, are you safe right now?" "I'm locked in my garage. He's outside the door." "Stay there. Units are 3 minutes out." I hung up, listened. Jordan had stopped pounding. I heard his voice through the door, muffled, talking to Hannah. "Don't you dare call the cops. You hear me? Don't you dare." Hannah's voice, shaking. "You lied to me. About everything. We don't have time for this. The car, the money, the gun, you were going to kill her. I was saving us. Your mother was going to waste everything. She's my mother. And she's in the way." Jordan's voice went cold. "Now get your phone. We're leaving. Right now." Silence. Then Hannah's voice. Quiet, but firm. "I already called them." "What?" "I called 911. They're coming." I heard a crash. Jordan throwing something. "You stupid, do you have any idea what you just did? They'll arrest both of us. This is on you too." 3 minutes later, red and blue lights filled the driveway. I unlocked the garage door, stepped out. Officer Michael Harris stood in the driveway, 2 more officers behind him. "Ms. Hartwell." I nodded, handed him the USB drive I'd grabbed from the laptop. "Everything you need is on here. Wire fraud, attempted murder, audio recordings, financial documents, bank statements." Harris took it, looked at Jordan, who stood in the doorway, face twisted with fury. "Mr. Rivers, you're under arrest for attempted murder and elder abuse. This is entrapment. She set me up, I'll sue all of you." An officer cuffed him, read him his rights. "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney." "I know my rights." They walked him to the squad car. He fought the whole way, yelling, threatening, promising lawsuits. Then he saw Hannah, standing in the doorway. "If you testify against me," Jordan screamed, "I'll destroy you. You hear me? I'll tell them it was all your idea, that you manipulated me. You're dead to me." Hannah didn't answer, just stood there, arms wrapped around herself, tears streaming. The cruiser door closed, cut off Jordan's shouting. Harris turned to me. "You okay, ma'am?" "I will be. We'll need a full statement. You'll need to come downtown tomorrow for formal interviews." "I'll be there." He nodded, got in his car. They drove away, taillights disappearing down Paradise Lane. I stood in the driveway, looked up at the house, at Hannah silhouetted in the doorway. Tomorrow we'd face a judge. Tomorrow the truth would come out. Tomorrow justice would be served. But tonight I'd survived. And that was enough. 9 o'clock in the morning. Courtroom 3B, Maricopa County Superior Court. I walked through the double doors in a gray suit. First time I'd worn a suit since Robert's funeral. The gallery was half full. Florence Carver in the third row dabbing her eyes. A few reporters, some law students. Monica had warned me. This case was attracting attention. Jordan sat at the defense table with his attorney. Preston Walsh. Expensive suit, silver hair, the kind of lawyer who charged $500 an hour and made you feel like it was worth it. Jordan didn't look at me, just stared straight ahead. Jaw tight. Hannah sat alone in the second row. Not at the defense table, not with Jordan. She'd made her choice. All rise. We stood. Judge Patrick Monroe entered from chambers. 70 years old, black robe, silver beard. I'd known Patrick for 25 years. He'd clerked for me when I was on the bench. Patrick caught my eye, gave the smallest nod. Then he sat. We sat. This court is now in session. Case number CR 2024-0456. State of Arizona versus Jordan Allen Rivers. Patrick's voice filled the room. Ms. Reeves, you may proceed with your opening statement. Monica stood, smoothed her jacket, walked to the center of the courtroom. Your Honor, this is a case about calculated greed, systematic manipulation, and attempted murder. Over the course of 79 days, the defendant isolated, drugged, defrauded, and attempted to kill his mother-in-law to gain access to a $15 million estate. She clicked a remote. The screen behind her lit up. Timeline Day 0 through Day 79. Day 0, Robert Hartwell's funeral. Hours after his burial, the defendant and his wife moved into Paula Hartwell's home claiming they wanted to care for her. But care wasn't the goal. Control was. Click. Day 3. Paula overheard the defendant conspiring with Dr. Gerald Foster to poison her using ketamine and arsenic. Quote, it'll look like natural causes. Click. Day 41. The defendant stole Paula's 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda valued at $280,000. Hotwired it. Sold it for $95,000 cash. Click. Day 65. The defendant coerced Paula into signing a power of attorney giving him full control over her finances. Click. Day 79. The defendant attempted to smother Paula with a pillow. When that failed, he tried to push her down a staircase. Monica turned to face Jordan. The evidence will show wire fraud in the amount of $620,000. Grand larceny of vehicle and jewelry totaling over $350,000. Elder abuse, conspiracy, and attempted murder. She paused. Let it sink in. This wasn't a mercy killing. This wasn't a son-in-law trying to help a confused old woman. This was murder for profit. Premeditated, systematic, and documented in the defendant's own words. Monica sat down. Preston Walsh stood immediately. Your Honor, these are extremely serious allegations based largely on circumstantial evidence and the testimony of a woman who by all accounts was suffering from severe dementia. My client acted in good faith under a legally obtained power of attorney to manage his mother-in-law's declining mental health. Then let's examine that power of attorney, Monica said. She clicked the remote. The screen showed a document. My signature, shaky, slanted left. This signature was written with Ms. Hartwell's left hand. Your Honor, Ms. Hartwell is right-handed. Has been her entire life. Walsh frowned. Objection. This is speculative. I have an expert witness, Your Honor, Dr. Helen Brennan, forensic document examiner. Patrick nodded. Call your witness. Dr. Brennan was sworn in. Mid-50s, glasses, 20 years of experience testifying in fraud cases. Monica asked her to examine the signature on screen. In your professional opinion, Dr. Brennan, what does this signature indicate? It indicates coercion or incapacity. The tremor pattern, the leftward slant, the inconsistent pressure, all classic signs of a signature written under duress using the non-dominant hand. Could this have been accidental? No. Look at the consistency of the leftward slant. That's deliberate use of the left hand. You can see where the writer paused, recalibrated, continued. That's not tremor. That's unfamiliarity. So in your opinion, this signature was written under coercion, textbook case. Walsh tried to argue, asked about alternate explanations. Stroke, fatigue, natural tremor. Dr. Brennan shut him down on every point. The signature analysis stood. Monica clicked to the next slide, bank statements. Your Honor, over 9 days in late August, $620,000 was transferred from Paula's account to a shell company called GNC Holdings LLC. She zoomed in. This company was registered at Ms. Hartwell's address without her knowledge, without her consent. The registered agents, Jordan Rivers and Hannah Hartwell Rivers. Walsh stood. Your Honor, my client was acting under power of attorney. A power of attorney obtained through coercion, Monica said, as we've just established. Walsh's face reddened. He sat down. Monica continued. Shell company. Fraudulent transfers. Structured to avoid bank reporting thresholds. Every transaction under $50,000. That's wire fraud under Title 18 U.S. Code Section 1443. Federal offense. Patrick made notes. Jordan whispered urgently to Walsh. Walsh whispered back. Both looked pale. Your Honor, Monica said, the defense claims Ms. Hartwell was mentally incompetent, incapable of managing her affairs, that she needed supervision. That's correct, Walsh said. Then let's test that claim. Monica's voice cut through the room. I'd like to call my first witness, Paula Hartwell. The courtroom went silent. Patrick looked at me. Ms. Hartwell, please take the stand. I stood, walked to the witness box. Every eye in that courtroom was on me, including Jordan's. Time to show him who he'd been underestimating for 79 days. I raised my right hand. Officer Harris held out a Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. I sat, adjusted the microphone. Walsh stood immediately, buttoned his jacket, walked toward me with confidence. Ms. Hartwell, do you know where you are right now? Courtroom 3B, Maricopa County Superior Court, Phoenix, Arizona. Judge Patrick Monroe presiding. Case number CR 2024-0456. I paused. Would you like me to recite the docket number as well? Laughter rippled through the gallery. Jordan's jaw tightened. Walsh forced a smile. You seem quite lucid today. Very sharp. But 3 weeks ago you didn't even recognize your own daughter. I recognized her perfectly. I was pretending. The courtroom went silent. Walsh blinked. I'm sorry. Pretending. Yes. Acting. Playing a role. Feigning dementia. However you want to phrase it. Monica stood. Your Honor, I'd like to take the witness. Patrick nodded. Proceed. Monica walked to the center of the courtroom. Ms. Hartwell, can you explain why you pretended to have dementia? On day 3 after my husband's funeral, I overheard my son-in-law discussing a plan to poison me, ketamine and arsenic. If I'd confronted him, he would have changed tactics. So I decided to gather evidence while pretending to be incapacitated. Can you describe the poisoning? Dr. Gerald Foster came to my house. Prescribed white capsules, no label. Said they were for memory support. Jordan supervised me taking them every morning. I'd put the pill under my tongue. Swallow water. Wait until he left. Then spit it out. What did you do with the pills? Saved them. Labeled Ziploc bags by date. 79 pills over 79 days. Monica clicked the remote. The screen showed photos, Ziploc bags, white pills, date labels. And you tested these pills? Monica asked. I did. On day 22, I crushed 1 pill, mixed it with water, poured it on a small saguaro cactus in my courtyard. Within 48 hours, the cactus was dead. Yellow leaves, rotting flesh, classic arsenic toxicity. More photos. The dead cactus. Close-ups of the yellowed arms. Monica nodded. Clicked again. Audio played. Jordan's voice. How long until the medication takes effect? Foster's voice. 2 to 3 weeks. The ketamine will fog her memory. The arsenic will look like natural causes. The courtroom was silent. Hannah covered her face, shoulders shaking. Monica let the audio finish. Ms. Hartwell, what happened to your assets? My 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda valued at $280,000 was stolen on day 41. Hot-wired. Jordan sold it to Randy Cooper for $95,000 cash. Monica displayed documents, bill of sale, security footage showing Jordan accepting an envelope. And your husband's jewelry. My late husband's pearl necklace valued at $75,000 was pawned at Silver's pawn shop for $18,000. I have the pawn receipt security footage and the shop owner's testimony. More documents. Pawn slip. Timestamp. Jordan's face on camera. Mr. Hartwell, what about the wire fraud charges? $620,000 was transferred from my accounts to GNC Holdings LLC, a shell company registered at my address without my knowledge or consent. Jordan and Hannah were the listed agents. Monica projected the incorporation papers. Walsh stood. Objection. My client was acting under power of attorney. A power of attorney obtained through coercion, Monica said. As Dr. Brennan testified. Patrick looked at Walsh. Objection overruled. Continue, Ms. Reeves. Monica turned back to me. Ms. Hartwell, in your professional opinion, having served 40 years as a federal judge, does this evidence constitute wire fraud? Yes. Textbook case. Interstate wire transfer with intent to defraud. Federal offense. Thank you, Ms. Hartwell. Monica looked at Patrick. No further questions, Your Honor. Walsh stood, walked slowly toward me. Ms. Hartwell, you claim you were poisoned, but you're sitting here today, perfectly healthy. Doesn't that seem inconsistent? I never actually ingested the poison. As I testified, I faked taking the pills. But how can we be sure these pills contained poison? Maybe they were exactly what Dr. Foster said. Memory support medication. Then why did the cactus die? Why did forensic analysis confirm arsenic? Walsh hesitated. Perhaps the plant died of natural causes. In 48 hours after I poured dissolved medication on it, that's not natural causes, Mr. Walsh. That's toxicity. Walsh moved on. You also claim my client stole your car, but you testified earlier that you don't drive. Why would you need a car? I don't drive anymore, but I owned that car. It belonged to my late husband. And your client stole it, sold it for 1/3 of its value, and pocketed the cash. How do you know my client sold it? I have a recorded phone call with Randy Cooper. He confirmed the purchase. Confirmed Jordan was the seller. And I have the bill of sale with your client's signature. Walsh was sweating now. Patrick leaned forward. Do you have any further questions for this witness, Mr. Walsh? No, Your Honor. Then you may step down, Ms. Hartwell. I stood, walked back to my seat. As I passed Jordan, our eyes met. His were full of hate. Mine were full of victory. Your Honor, Monica said, the state calls Hannah Hartwell Rivers. The courtroom went silent. Hannah stood, walked slowly to the witness stand, took the oath. Her hand shook when she raised it. Ms. Rivers, Monica began gently, did you participate in the scheme to defraud your mother? Hannah's throat worked. Yes. Did you sign the documents transferring control of her finances to your husband? Yes. Did you help move $620,000 from your mother's accounts? A tear slipped down Hannah's cheek. Yes. Monica paused. Let the admission settle. Did you know your husband was planning to kill your mother? Hannah looked up sharply. No. Her voice cracked. I swear to God I didn't know. What did you think you were doing? Jordan told me. She stopped, swallowed. He told me Mom hated me, that she'd always hated me, that Dad was the only reason she tolerated me, and now that he was gone she was going to cut me out of everything. She wiped her eyes. He said we needed to act fast, before Mom gave it all away or lost it to some scam. He said we were protecting the family. Did you believe him? I wanted to. Her voice broke. I wanted to believe him. Monica walked to the evidence table, picked up a photograph. Ms. Rivers, do you recognize this? Hannah looked at the photo. Her face went white. That's the suitcase from our bedroom. What's inside? $35,000 cash and a gun. When did you find this day 59? Hannah's voice steadied. Jordan went out. I was looking for his coat. I found his wallet. Inside was a promissory note for $340,000. The courtroom murmured. Who was the lender? Vincent DeLuca. What was the collateral? Hannah's voice dropped to a whisper. Mom's house. I felt my chest tighten. She'd known. For 20 days she'd known Jordan put my house up as collateral for a loan shark's debt. And she'd said nothing. What else did you find? Monica asked. A business card, Randy Cooper. Cooper's Classic Cars. With a note about Mom's car, the Hemacuda. Jordan told me it had been sold years ago, but the card was dated last month. She looked at me. That's when I knew something was really wrong. What did you do? I confronted him. That night, asked him about the car, the money, the debt. She paused. He said it was under control. I asked how. He said, her voice shook. He said your mother won't need the house much longer. What did that mean to you? I didn't understand. Not then. But the next morning I heard him on the phone with Dr. Foster. He said 2 more weeks, 3 tops. Then it's done. She looked at Jordan. That's when I knew. Did you confront him again? Yes. I told him I was going to the police. She touched her cheek. He hit me. Then he grabbed my arm and told me if I said anything, he'd tell them it was my idea, that I'd manipulated him, that I was the one who wanted Mom dead. Did you believe him? I was terrified. Monica walked closer. Ms. Rivers, you signed the power of attorney documents. You helped transfer money. You stayed silent when you knew your mother was in danger. Why are you testifying today? Hannah finally looked at me. Her eyes were red, swollen. Because she's my mother, and I almost let her die. Monica explained the plea agreement. 5 years probation, 2 suspended, 500 hours community service, mandatory psychological treatment. Patrick looked at Hannah. Do you understand the terms of this agreement? Yes, Your Honor. Do you accept them? Yes. Walsh stood. Your Honor, I have no questions for this witness, but I'd like to note for the record that she is testifying under duress. And you're lying. Jordan was on his feet. He lunged toward the witness stand. 2 bailiffs grabbed him, but he twisted free long enough to reach Hannah. His hand cracked across her face. The courtroom erupted. Hannah screamed. I stood, but Monica was faster. She stepped between them as the bailiffs dragged Jordan back. He was still shouting, spitting threats as they wrestled him toward the door. Patrick slammed his gavel. Mr. Rivers, you are now charged with assault on a witness and witness intimidation. Bailiffs, remove him. Jordan's voice echoed as they hauled him out. You're dead, Hannah. You hear me, dead. The doors slammed shut. The courtroom was silent except for Hannah's sobs. Monica put a hand on her shoulder. Patrick exhaled. Ms. Rivers, you're excused. Bailiffs, please escort her to a secure location. Hannah was led out through a side door. I watched her go. My daughter, the girl I taught to ride a bike, the woman who'd almost helped her husband kill me. I didn't know if I could ever forgive her, but at least she'd finally told the truth. Vincent DeLuca testified next. Confirmed the $340,000 debt. Confirmed Jordan said, the old lady's going to be gone by October. Judge Monroe removed his glasses. I've reviewed all the evidence. In 23 years on this bench, this is one of the most calculated schemes I've encountered. He looked at Jordan. Mr. Rivers, you isolated a 72-year-old woman. You poisoned her. You stole her car, her husband's jewelry, and $620,000. You forged documents. You tried to smother her. Patrick's voice hardened. You are found guilty on all counts. Attempted murder, elder abuse, wire fraud, grand theft, witness intimidation, and assault. He paused. The sentence is 25 years to life. No parole for 20 years. Jordan exploded. This is I'll appeal, this is bailiffs, remove him. They dragged him out. The doors slammed. Patrick turned to me. Ms. Hartwell, do you wish to make a statement? I stood. Your Honor, I spent 40 years defending justice. Today I sat on this side. The system worked. Justice was served. I paused. But I don't feel victorious. My daughter betrayed me. My son-in-law tried to kill me. I'll never forget that. But when I needed the law was there. Thank you. Patrick nodded. Court is adjourned. The gavel fell. Spring came to Arizona. I stood in the garage looking at the 1970 Plymouth Hemi-Cuda. Plum crazy purple. The police had tracked it down. I'd bought it back for $20,000. Florence was back. I'd paid her $15,000 in back wages. The house was repaired. Fresh paint. New locks. A young saguaro replacing the dead one. And I'd done something else. Something Robert would have wanted. The Robert Hartwell Legal Defense Fund. $15 million. Every cent of the estate minus the house and car. Free legal help for elder abuse victims. Scholarships for law students. Monica ran it full time. We held the opening ceremony in March. 200 people came. I stood at the podium in the courtyard. Robert believed justice should be available to everyone, I said. Not just those who can afford it. This fund will continue his legacy. The crowd applauded. 2 weeks later, I received a letter from Hannah. She was in treatment in Sedona. Mom, I know I can never undo what I did, but I'm trying to be better. I hope that one day you might forgive me. I read it 3 times. Then I folded it and put it in a drawer. I wasn't ready to respond. Maybe I never would be, but I kept it. One evening I sat on the patio, watched the sunset over Camelback Mountain. The sky turned orange, then pink, then purple. Florence brought out iced tea. "Miss Paula, do you need anything else?" "No, Florence, I have everything I need." She smiled, went inside. I thought about Robert, about the 43 years we'd had, the 79 days that followed his death, the pills, the recordings, the courtroom. "I kept my promise, Robert," I said quietly. "I protected your legacy, and I survived." The wind picked up. Somewhere in the distance, a coyote howled. I was 72 years old. I'd been a judge, a wife, a mother, and a fighter. I'd seen the worst of people and the best of the law. The gavel always falls. Justice may be slow, but it's inevitable. I took a sip of tea, watched the stars come out. The gavel had fallen, and I was still standing.